once you master the practicalities of what I'm about to share with you today, your life will change. So if you are ready to quantum leap, to jump into higher realities and understand exactly how you do it, the practical part of it, then you are in the right place. Hi, I'm Cristina and I help spiritual entrepreneurs to rewire their subconscious for success and expand their soul businesses while living extraordinary lives. So if you are vibing with this, hit the subscribe button and stick around. And I have two foundational courses, Coded for Expansion and Becoming the One, that I am linking down in the description in case you want to check them out. So now, let's talk about quantum leaping and how exactly we are changing our lives by jumping into higher realities. Quantum leaping happens when we jump from one reality into another reality. And quantum physics has been proving that there are infinite realities in which we can exist. There is infinite potential for the realities that we can access, and there are infinite versions of ourselves also that live in each of these realities. Now, the difference between these realities are the frequencies on which they exist. So how do we jump from one reality to another reality that we like better and we desire to access? We change the frequency that we operate on so that we become a match for the reality where what we want exists. In other words, we tune on the channel where our reality exists. Now, I want to share this with you because it was such a big breakthrough when I really understood what realities, parallel realities are, and how we are jumping timelines and what happens on each of these timelines. So I realized that each reality that we can access, that is available, it's a possibility in the quantum for us, has a lifeline. Like, imagine with your mind's eye an infinity of lifelines, each one with its own frequency. And on each lifeline, based on the frequency of that reality, there is a script. And we can't change that script. And this is one of the biggest breakthroughs I've ever had, realizing that we cannot fight against the reality in which we are. We cannot fight it, we cannot bend it, we cannot change it. It's the script, it's the level of consciousness, the level of frequency where we operate in that reality. The only way we can change our experience is not by changing things here on the line where we are, but by jumping to a different line. So we can't change anything in the linear way. We can't change the script of the line, but we can change the line and access a whole different universe, a whole different reality. This was a huge, big breakthrough for me when it landed, because I realized that the only way in which I can shift my experience, I can quantum leap, is not by struggling or pushing against what is, but tuning into the frequency, the channel of another reality. So there is no point in pushing, struggling, and forcing ourselves into a different reality. It will never work. The only way to enter another reality is through the frequency of it. But now comes the question: how do we access another frequency of a reality that we actually want? Here's what creates our frequency, what defines our frequency. Our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. These are creating our emotions, and our emotions are the drivers of our frequency. Our emotions are our language of communicating with the quantum, and our dominant emotions create our energetic signature and our attraction point. Or another way to look at this is that our energetic signature, our dominant emotions, are our gateway to the reality that we are aligning with. So if we want to access higher level realities, then we have to bring our dominant emotions, the emotions that we hold inside our body, in our field most of the time, we have to bring them in alignment with the emotions, the frequency of the reality that we want to access. Now, we quantum jump through our emotions, but we bring that reality into our physical experience through action. Through action that is taken from the level of the consciousness of that reality. So once we became a match for the emotions of the version of ourselves that lives in the higher reality, then from that energy we will start getting nudges, inspiration, downloads, ideas, creativity that will be giving us the how. And that is the action that will be moving us on the timeline that we access and will be creating the physical experience of that timeline. So we jump through the emotions, but we physically move on the timeline that we jumped on through our action. Our action on that timeline is bringing the timeline, the reality, into physical experience. This is so important to understand, because I see so many people who want to have the 5-figure mounts, 100K mounts, whatever are the mounts. They want more sales in their business. And instead of focusing on who they need to be in order to access that reality that they so desire, they focus on doing, and they do more and even more, and then they get frustrated because they feel like, I'm doing everything, why are not things moving in the right way, the way that I really want them to move like? And here's the answer: when we take action from the level of consciousness of the lifeline we are currently on, and not the level of the consciousness of the lifeline where we want to jump, then we will just continue walking on the old lifeline. We will just continue repeating the same reality on this lifeline. If we want to experience a different reality, first needs to happen the jump in consciousness, the jump in frequency that gives us access to a completely different consciousness. And from that consciousness, we start downloading completely different ways of showing up and acting. We need to first become the frequency of what we want. We need to first become what we want, and then the how is being revealed to us. Then we receive, as we were saying, the inspiration, the nudges, the downloads, the ideas, the creativity that is taking us farther on the new lifeline, on the new reality, and brings it into physical experience. You will be receiving the nudge to go and follow and hire a new mentor that will be helping you break through and go to the next levels, or you will be downloading the offer that will be changing everything for you in your business, or you will be receiving the creativity for the post that will be bringing you the next 5-figure client, or will be bringing you new soul aligned clients. It's all about feeling first, matching the frequency of the channel that we want to move to, and then receiving the how from there. Just as a metaphor, I want you to think about radio channels that we are catching. Once we tune into the channel that we want, we can hear the music, we can hear the songs, we can hear the information that is aligned to that channel, that will be taking us more into that channel. But we first need to tune in and then receive the information from there. The feelings come always first. Now, before I give you a map on exactly how you are quantum leaping, the practical steps of quantum leaping, I want to just bring a caveat. We said that we first feel, and then we take action from that feeling, and that action is taking us into the desired reality, is bringing the desired reality into our physical experience. But there is always a gap between the feeling and being and acting and entering into the experience, physical experience of the desired reality. And in this gap that people call the void, you might be challenged, and we have the responsibility towards ourselves first and foremost to keep on going, to keep on feeling into the reality that we are moving towards, to keep on being the version of ourselves that lives in there, being that person here now, no matter what our current circumstances are looking like. Because if we hold long enough, the circumstances start changing. But we have to have that staying power, personal power, to hold ourselves through the void. And if you want to know how to do it, I created a video that is all about why the universe is testing you and how to win every single time. And I will be linking that one also in the description. But now let's talk about the practical part of quantum leaping. And I want to give you a map that you can use again and again for each time you are ready to jump into a higher reality. So the first step when we quantum leap is for you to get clear on what is exactly the reality that you are tuning into. What is the channel that you are tuning into? So ask yourself, what is in that reality that I appreciate the most? What in that reality brings me the biggest joy? How do I feel in that reality? And this takes me to the importance of focusing on your internal reality while living in that new normal. Ask yourself, what do I feel about who I am there? What do I enjoy in there? What are my beliefs in there? What are the things that I know for sure about myself, about the reality and the way the world is working for me in there? Let yourself reach out for the feeling of that reality. Many times people are saying, I can't see anything. I can't get clarity on what I want and the next level because I can't see. And the truth is that we don't necessarily need to see in order to create. All we need is to feel. So focus on the feeling of the desired reality. How does it feel like? What you enjoy the most in there? Who you are in there? What are your emotions? What do you feel about yourself? What do you feel about the world around you, your new normal? This is the key, the emotion of that reality. Because as we were saying, we are creating through emotion. Now, the second step of this map is to build a feeling of safety inside your body now. And hear me out. Safety and the degree in which we experience safety around our circumstances is the biggest driver of our emotions. If we feel like we are in danger, if we feel like we are not safe, we will not be able to feel any elevated emotions in order to calibrate to higher level realities. But here's the thing, most of the times we are not in any immediate danger and we still feel unsafe. We still feel this anxiety inside ourselves, this anxiousness. And it's only because we have a dysregulated nervous system. The biggest ingredient here is understanding how to calm down our nervous system, understanding how to keep ourselves and nurture inside ourselves a feeling of safety. And this can mean as simple of a habit as turning inside throughout the day and feeling I am safe. I let a wave of safety wash over me. I allow myself to feel safe. Repeat to yourself, to your subconscious, I am safe. I live in safety. And feel these waves of safety, safeness washing over you. This is how we train ourselves to be in this state of inner calm, inner neutrality, which is the foundation on which we are building everything else. So this is the second step. Create a state of inner safety. The third step, very important also, normalize your desire. And when I say normalize, is again about the internal reality, the internal environment. We want to stop pedestaling our desires, meaning I am here and I'm looking at my desire as being somewhere above me, and then I feel all these feelings of neediness, but also I'm not good enough. The subconscious feels like we are always separated from our desire when we pedestal it. And obviously it feels like there is always a gap. Even if we are getting closer and closer to the desire, it feels like we can never really touch it and get there. This is pedestaling. The opposite of this is turning inward and creating future memories. As Dr. Joe Dispenza says, future memories where we are living that reality that we are moving towards as if already happened, as if it's our normal. And we let whatever we are calling in that reality feel normal, feel calm, feel no big deal in our system. So practice first inside yourself, even when it feels sometimes, oh my God, it still feels like a big deal. It's okay. Just go and practice those future memories and practice the feeling of it's calm, it's normal, that's exactly who I am, this is no big deal for me in that reality which I am stepping into right now. It's no big deal for me. It's something calm, it's something normal, it's so, of course. So this is one aspect of normalizing the next level reality that we are jumping into through visualization, through practicing inside our body these feelings of it's normal, no big deal. What I liked always to encourage my clients is to go gradually, to have the incremental approach of going from, let's say, 2K per month to calibrate themselves to the frequency of, let's say, 5K or 7K, and from there 20K, and from there 50 or 60K, and from there so on and so forth. So it's about the incremental steps, incremental jumps that will be much faster for us, in fact, to jump and to create an evolution based on than when we try to go from 2K to 1 million and the subconscious freezes. Like, I cannot possibly even think about who I am at that level and have no capacity to tune into those emotions. It's too of a big vibrational gap. So let's go for the incremental jumps. And the way you decide what is the best next reality in which you can jump is by asking yourself, what is the highest jump that I can still put my trust behind? What is the highest jump right now that I can still put my trust behind? If I'm making $2,000 per month in my business right now, and I am thinking about my next jump, I will be checking, what if I calibrate to the 10K month? And if it feels like, I still cannot really wrap my trust around that, then let's take 7,000 or 8,000, or, we check different steps and feel, what is the highest step that I can take? What is the biggest thing that I can chew while I can still, kind of chew it? This is the principle of the incremental, gradual jumps when we are quantum leaping. Slower many times takes us faster. And this was a lesson that I had to learn myself also. Now, the next step is to create a metamorphosis cocoon for yourself. And this literally means changing your point of perception. Look, when we've lived our entire life among people who are thinking that life is hard, it requires hard work in order to get anything in this life, desires are not really possible, rich people are really bad people, etc., then that is our point of reference. And obviously, all we can see through that keyhole is what is available through that keyhole. What we want is to change the keyhole, to go and create a cocoon of metamorphosis for ourselves where we find the communities, we find the people, we find the books, we find the podcasts, we find the mentors, we find anything that can help us normalize the reality that we are jumping towards. It's about finding the environments where what you want is normalized. People are making the money that you want to make. They have the relationships you want to have. They have the adventures you want to have. They are living in the luxury that you want to experience also. Go and give yourself permission to immerse in those worlds, even if it means just staying in the lobby of a beautiful luxurious hotel and working from there while you are drinking a coffee, or going and taking a walk in front of the luxury shop, or listening and immersing yourself in podcasts, in communities where people are speaking about the results that you desire as normal, because they normalize them and they are no big deal. It's about creating this cocoon of metamorphosis. Will help you so much with the calibration to the frequency of the reality you are accessing now. The next important step is about focusing on possibility instead of focusing on what we don't want. Our subconscious mind has been wired to look at the danger, to look at the unwanted, to look at the negative. We always rather remember what went wrong than what went good, because it's a mechanism of protection. But we need to override this programming of our subconscious mind, and instead of obsessing over what we don't want, what doesn't work, what we don't have, we need to start training our mind and our attention and focus to stay on the possibility, on where we are going, how that feels like, what we are having there, what we are experiencing there. Is literally about becoming delusional. In a way, that is what is required in order to quantum jump. It's about keeping our body into the current reality with the current circumstances, but taking our emotions and our energy and let them live at an entire different level, at the level of the reality that we are jumping into. So it's really this exercise of holding the emotions, holding the energy of where we are going through, staying focused on the possibility. And obviously it's human. Many times we will catch ourselves going into, oh my God, I'm still here, I don't have, this doesn't work, I still don't have what I want, etc., etc. It's normal. It's not about, the wobble moments when our focus is slipping away from where we want it to be. It's about what we do after that. It's about the awareness. We become aware, okay, I am defaulting on what I don't want. I pivot back into possibility. I pivot back into feeling being there. I pivot back into the energy of being there now. And I show up and operate from there. I let that level of consciousness to drive my choices, to drive my inspiration, to drive the way I'm showing up. And then it's inevitable that the reality we are jumping into becomes our physical reality also. The last step in this map is to learn how to detach in order to attract. And this is probably one of the most profound but also most efficient lessons that we have to learn when we are trying to create from a state of push, from a state of attachment. Obviously we create a lot of friction, a lot of resistance that instead of bringing, magnetizing what we want to us, is just repelling it. So what do we do instead of that? Here's one internal shift that will help you immensely. Every time you feel attached, every time you feel like it needs to work, I need it to work, I need this, and you feel like you are almost grabbing that result and you are trying to push yourself into it or to push it into reality, in those moments remind yourself this: I want it, but I don't need it. I want it, but I don't need it. And blow space between you and your desire. Blow space, allowing the spaciousness between you and your desire, and remind yourself, I want it. It would be great to have it, but I don't need it. And in this spaciousness, allow yourself to relax. Allow yourself to find playfulness. Allow yourself to find fun. And Focus on the passion of doing what you are doing. Focus on the deliciousness of just being in the energy and the emotions of the next level reality, without making that mean that now also I need to receive the result of this. Make the deliciousness of being in those emotions, in that frequency, be enough in order to fulfill you, in order to satisfy you at the emotional and energetic level. In the end, the more we detach, the more and faster we attract. And this is one of the keys on your map. Guys, this is what I wanted to share with you today. I would love to know if you are gonna use any of these concepts and if you are gonna start using this map for yourself. It's so potent and it will change your reality. I would love to hear about your results, realizations in the comments. And if you want to go even deeper into how to become the you, the elevated you, and step into that identity now, I'm recommending you this video here, the identity upgrade. It's a live I've just created and it's a soul shifting experience. See you in the next video.